Good evening, Internet, and welcome to Top Shift 125. And Happy New Year! Happy 2021. Right, well, this episode was going to cover the final part of the Powerplay series that I've been working through, and it's going to cover the most controversial part of this game mode, and that is the preparation section. Now, it's controversial for a couple of reasons, mostly because of the reputation that it's given Powerplay, and also the way it can be exploited, which I'll cover in a bit. So, the actual mechanics for doing the preparation stage is quite simple. As you know, we have the control, we have the expansion, and we have the preparation stages. Now, obviously, control systems are turned into control systems by expanding into them. And before you can expand into a control system, expand into a system rather, you have to prepare it. And this is what preparation is all about. Now, going over to the Galactic Powers thing, unfortunately, since last time, the Emperor has fallen a little bit behind the some other major powers, but apart from that, and into the preparation section. Now, seems to be an awful lot to unpack here, but I'll just quickly explain. You'll remember the overview of the system is that Powerplay is based on CC income, or command capital income, which is a made-up measure of how you score Powerplay. Now, you can see here that if we want to increase our earnings, our CC income, you expand into more systems. And if we go into preparation, you can see how much that expansion is going to cost. Now, obviously, when a power is in profit, as we are now, you can see that I'm on 1,342. If, however, the upkeep and the overheads go higher than our income, then we start to decline and systems start to revolt, which I don't think's happened in the Duval power for quite a while, but never say never, because things can change with Powerplay. Now, if we wanted to expand, you can see that these are the systems currently under preparation. It didn't have to be these ones. You can actually prepare any system as long as it's populated. It's not a powers control system, and it's not under the 15 light year influence of that control system. So if it's a completely neutral populated planetary system, you can actually prepare it for your power. Now, that seems simple enough, and what you do to prepare them is, well, I'm going to choose this one here, even though I shouldn't, and I'll explain why in a bit. I'm only doing this because it's for demonstration purposes, and I apologise to anyone in my power and squadron for doing this, as you'll understand in a second. So I have gone and loaded up with hang on, we'll just get the power up here. Now, if we go to the contacts and the power contact, you'll see that I have filled up with the corruption reports. Now, this is the preparation task for this power, which is basically delivering stuff. Now, and that's basically what it mostly is for most of the powers. You can actually go in here and see that I think Hudson's got combat, hasn't he? So yeah, he's basic. Even though it's combat, he's still putting delivering stuff, and that's one of the problems, because it gives the whole Powerplay thing a reputation of just being the Postman Pat simulator. I mean, at least with the Emperor here, we do have a different expansion goal, which does involve a fight, combat. But the preparation of most of these systems involves taking propaganda or leaflets or a MacGuffin from one of your control systems to the system you want as your own. Now that's one of the first controversial bits about Powerplay, is because of the lack of variety in the preparation stage, which was most people's introduction to it. They've come to the conclusion that that's all there is to this game mode, and as hopefully I've shown in the other videos, there is a lot more to Powerplay than just delivering. Now, the other thing about this is that these particular deliveries that we're making, there's not even a motivation for the other powers to try and block you. So the only people you have to worry about most of the time are NPCs, and NPCs don't seem to be that interested in you when you're not in a power system. So it does feel like just constant rinse and repeat, delivery, which is why I don't actually do this much. Ooh, we've got a system that I haven't been in before. Hang on. 13. Could actually spend a little time exploring that system, but I won't, because I've got stuff to do.
Frameshift drive charging.
So as you can see, just delivering, and because I'm not even in a contested system, I won't even have any of the power NPCs come after me, which you just hope that for a bit of excitement, maybe a pirate will decide to have a go at you, but unfortunately with Elite Dangerous, pirates only come after you if you're carrying certain goods, or goods of a great deal of value, and Powerplay vouchers aren't. And knowing my luck, I'll probably get interdicted by something nasty now. So, quite simply, line it up and carry on docking. Now, the other problem is with the preparation section is that it's had to go through several modifications, and that is because of something they call fifth columning. Now, this is different from undermining another power. A fifth column is a way for you to say, for instance, you support Hudson. A lot of players have found the best way to support Hudson is not by supporting Hudson at all, by joining an opposing power, say the Emperor's here, and effectively preparing the wrong systems and sending the power in the wrong direction. Because, and when I dock up and show you these things, show you the stats, you can actually fifth column a power and handicap sabotage a power quite effectively, which is why the mechanics for Powerplay has actually changed over the last couple of years. Well, to be honest, the mechanics for Powerplay haven't changed in the last 3 to 4 years. But this was the last big change they put in. So as we slowly approach this industrial outpost under the autopilot, try and soothe the anger with the Blue Danube. Right. refuel, go inside, and of course start onboard services. And of course you complete your delivery just by any other. Go to the power contact and say, right, I'm giving you my corruption reports, or whatever you do. And you can see the prepare progress there is almost 30,000, which I'm adding to, and I don't really want to. And the reason for that is, if we go to the power readouts, here you can see Marae is, it will cost 87 command capitals to expand into, which sounds quite reasonable. However, you can see here the potential value from CC is minus 41. So if we actually expanded into this system, like a lot of people want us to do, it would cost our power minus 41 command capital every cycle. Now at the moment that's not too bad, because we're 1,000 command capital up than before, but like I say, the more command capital you have, the higher you are in the rankings. And well, when you start going further down the lists, blood is in the water, and the sharks start cycling, if you see what I mean. And if we go through all the top 10 list, you can see here minus 47, 1. That's actually a good, it's a good system to go after. Minus 31. Most of them are minus values, like so. So that's the potential the potential value for that. Now, obviously you don't want your power to go into negative command capital, because then you start losing control systems. But what was happening was, under the old mechanics, people would just say, right, I'm voting for the top system. You get votes depending on how high your rank was within the power, and you would apply those votes to the top systems in here. However, that again was very exploitable by the fifth column elements. Now, in order to get around this, they changed the voting system, so you now have consolidation or preparation. Now, most people vote for consolidation, because the more people that vote for consolidation means that the less systems can expand. So if we get something like 80% consolidations and above, no system will be expanded into. If there is, I think, between 70 and 80, then one system, the top system in this list, will be expanded into, which can be it's better than the 5 or 6 which were available for expansion, because what would happen then is that the fifth columnists would then look down the systems to see which one would cost this particular power the most command capital, and try and force an expansion into that system, which of course causes issues. So what I'm going to do, obviously, is in this case vote for consolidation. Now, the less consolidation that you have, the more systems become available to expand into, up to the point where hardly any, if everybody voted for preparation, I think the top 6 systems are all marked for expansion. Which, if there are systems you want to expand into, that's good. But due to the fifth columners in all powers, the chances are you don't want to expand into them. Now, this is partly because Powerplay has been going on for such a long time. All the good systems are taken, and we're all fighting over the scraps. And it's very difficult to force a well-established power out, if you see what I mean. There was a couple of years ago, Grom, a whole load of Russian players backed the Yuri Grom character, and he was at #1 for absolutely ages. But as frustration grew with the lack of changes and mechanics to Powerplay, they've all given up. And I'm afraid to say that's happened quite a lot over the period of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to head back to our base system, and I'm going to switch back over to my main Powerplay ship. This is, as I say, this ship is normally used for undermining other powers because it's a good pirate ship. But I do like my Imperial Clipper just to do a lot of the transportation, because it's a good all-rounder, carries a lot of cargo, and it can defend itself against other players. And also, it's if you engineer it right, it is the fastest big ship in the game, and that's what you want. So we've now got a couple of light years to go. So that is basically Powerplay in a nutshell. There's a lot of delivering going on, which gives it a kind of bad reputation. A lot of people get upset with the fifth columning, which undermines a lot of effort. And unfortunately, it has a reputation of being corrupted by botters, because the preparation stage, as you've seen, you don't get interrupted so much. You get players with automated accounts that shove their ships into solo, and basically just run preparation run after preparation run in the wrong direction, which is very disheartening because there's no way to counter it. Frontier have banned players for using automated accounts like this in the past, but I'm afraid to say the confidence that they're taking action against this isn't high, because the same players seem to have come back and are just under new accounts, just doing it all over again. And yeah, Frontier doesn't seem to be doing anything. They claim they're doing something behind the scenes, but confidence. Let's just say confidence is low. So, I mean, what can be done about Powerplay, or what can happen in the future? Well, this person here has his own opinions, and this point from my point going forward, these are just my opinions. Now, the main issue I find is that this game mode works best when everybody is in open. The problem is that not everybody can be in open. There will be people who, due to internet connection issues or bandwidth issues, or the fact that they're on a console but don't have the multiplayer option, they'll only be able to play in solo. That is an issue. However, and also the other issue is the fact that a lot of players just do Powerplay to get the modules you get about rank 3. Now, my playthrough on this has not been to do that. The reason I've been playing Powerplay is actually for the social side of things, because it is a group activity. You get your best results when you are working with a coordinated group. Lone wolfing Powerplay is the most horrible, boring, grindy thing you can do in Elite Dangerous, in my opinion, and I wouldn't recommend it. Which comes back down to the fact that yes, it is deliver this here, deliver this there, and that does, especially when you're not interrupted so much, it just turns into boring delivery runs. However, those boring delivery runs change when other players are about. Now, which is why I like the control side of things, because even though you're still making deliveries, there's that little bit of an edge. Another player faction could be trying to stop you or trying to block a particular action, and that, believe it or not, does add to the spice of playing it. The issue there is that I've actually bought into the fact that I am going to be involved in some form of PvP. Now, a victory for me when I'm delivering stuff is just to deliver it. If I'm interdicted by another player, my objective is to escape, not destroy the other player, because I know that my trading vessel will probably not stand much of a chance against his against whoever's attacking me. So my objective there is like a blockade runner. Get out, get past them, and if I make my delivery, it's a win for us. Not I shoot them down. Now it's completely different if I was trying to undermine in someone else's system, and I'd have no problem with taking people on. However, I would say we can't force everybody into open. As much as I would like this to be an open-only mode, I have to acknowledge that some people will not be able to. And for that, I think what needs to be done is that people who play in open should be rewarded more. There should be a sort of a carrot approach rather than a stick approach to try and get as many people in open as possible. Now this could take the form of bigger rewards, or more preferably, people who play in open, their actions affect the background simulation of power play far more significantly than people who play in solo. Kind of to try and get people to play in open voluntarily rather than force the game mode into open only, because I know as soon as that happens, a lot of people will then think that's the thinning of the wedge, and before you know it, CGs, the entire game will eventually be in open only, and that I don't want, because there are times I don't want to deal with other players. I'd rather muck about by myself in solo mode, just because I know that I don't really not feeling up to socially interacting with other people. The other thing I would suggest, well, out of this, is that preparation needs a little bit more variety. Maybe, I know in the past they've said it's too complicated to link the mission system in with the Powerplay backend, but I do feel that the Powerplay backend, it needs more variety. It needs something more than just delivering MacGuffins to point B or point A, and I do feel that it does need maybe a couple of missions put in there, or some form of power, because people just get the wrong idea about power play from the preparation stage. The third thing that I would change is the modules. One of the things that I really get annoyed with is module shoppers, who are people who play for the first 3 months, and, well, it's not 3 months, 3 weeks to get the latest modules, and then they quit and move on to the next power to get them that power's modules. The problem with that is that they will go the cheapest option, which is normally the worst for the power, and it distorts the power play experience. Now, I would prefer it if you had the option, so that if you wanted the power play modules, put them behind a tech broker with an equivalent task of being in power play for 3 weeks. So, I mean, those would be the 3 recommendations. Enticements to play in open. Obviously, more variety at the preparation stage, and finally, a way to remove the module shoppers. Unfortunately, I don't think there is a way easily to remove the 5th columners and obviously the bots. Probably point 1, where people who fly in open will have more influence over the power play experience will have a positive impact, but that's yet to be seen. Now, I know I've sounded negative in the last 10 minutes about this game mode, especially the preparation stage, but you have to remember this particular game mode has kept me going in the game for, let's see, how many weeks now? 44 weeks. And I only thought I'd give it a 4-week trial just to see how it was. So this has managed to keep me going through the content drought we had at the beginning of 2020. And also, I've continued to play it, even though we've had the new content uptake over the last 6 months. Now, the reason that I keep on coming back to it, it's not because of the game mechanics itself. It's because I got involved in a big player group. So for all those in Levine's Legion and the Levangi Duval Power Discord, thank you very much. And anybody else who plays Powerplay and gets involved in a group and uses their Discord or their facilities, well played to you guys. It is effectively a group mode. And I keep on reiterating this point again and again. If you do want to give Powerplay a try, I would recommend it. It doesn't cost you anything. And also, if you get involved with one of the big groups, then you'll probably find it a very rewarding experience. Very similar to the way that people who get involved in the background simulation with their own group. And trying to expand their own group over through the galactic background simulation. They have this feeling of community. So yes, I would recommend giving Powerplay a try, especially if you feel that Elite Dangerous has just lost a little bit of its edge, because it does this. People go through cycles. They get to a point where, right, okay, I've got to a point with Elite Dangerous, I've had enough, I'm just going to leave it until something big comes along. This, like I said, this has kept me going for 44 weeks. Never expected it to. I've had 400 hours out of this particular account just based on Powerplay alone. And I'm going to continue playing it. Obviously, they've said that there will be changes coming to Powerplay in the future. However, as a personal opinion, I don't think there will be any changes to Powerplay for at least 6 months after Odyssey's been released. I might be wrong. I'm hoping to be proven wrong. But to the end of it, this is where Top Shift will leave the Powerplay side of things. I will probably come back to it from time to time, but the next couple of videos will be focused on what's coming with Odyssey, and I must admit I'm quite excited about that. So until next time, and hopefully there'll be more regular updates than this. Thanks for joining me for this Powerplay stuff, and I will see you next time.